In this Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol rematch, there's one key aspect of these two fighters that I think is absolutely key. It's absolutely key in deciding the outcome of this rematch. Both of these guys are master boxers. Both of these guys know exactly what to do, but it's who can exert their will on the other man. So in this video, I'm going to be focusing on a very key aspect of this fight. It's something that Beterbiev does, and it's something that Bivol does to turn Beterbiev's strengths into a weakness. I hope you can stick with me through this one because I think this is very, very interesting, and I think this small detail could decide the outcome of the fight. Hello everyone, welcome back to a guy called Henry. Guys, as you can see, I'm releasing some smaller videos from my bigger game film analysis videos, breaking down certain key elements of the fight. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a key phenomenon. It's something that Beterbiev does. It's something that I haven't really heard referred to in this way, but I call it the Beterbiev dip. Now, there were moments in the fight where Bivol was able to counter this, was able to deal with this, but it wasn't frequently enough. So what I'm going to show you in this video is what the Beterbiev dip is and how it was so effective against Bivol before doing a bit more of a longer discussion about how Bivol, generally speaking, was able to turn Beterbiev's movement into a weakness. Because fighters, you can say they have flawed movement, but it's only flawed if a fighter can turn it into a flaw. And Bivol's very good at this. It was something he put on display against Canelo. He exploited all those Canelo foot faults. It's much easier when the man in front of you has slow feet and is a lot smaller than you. But regardless, in this fight, he did do a very good job of making Beterbiev's making his movement into a weakness. At the same time, though, Beterbiev had it far too much his own way with that dip. And in this video, I'm going to show you how it all works and break it all down for you. Now, of course, these are just moments taken. And what I'm talking about here is the balance of things. Who can do what they want to do more than the other man? I think that Bivol in this rematch, he has to do a bit more. He's already done it. And you'll see in the video, he's already managed to find the answers on occasion, but he wasn't doing it frequently enough. I think ultimately the pressure told, and stamina and fitness will be everything for Bivol in this fight. I think he's got all the tools to beat Beterbiev, but we can't discount what physical conditioning means and what it does. And eventually, Beterbiev is inevitable. He gets to you eventually, and that was why I thought he would stop Bivol in that first fight. I think I mentioned the knee a lot. I've been mentioning the knee a lot. And I think that that could be key. But I also think that if it might just be a case of Bivol needing to be a bit braver and maybe risk getting stopped himself to actually win the fight. But it was on a knife edge last time. It was super close. Loads of people had it for Bivol. Loads of people had it for Beterbiev. Lots of people had it a draw as well. But anyway, guys, without further ado, I'm going to get you into this one. But just before I do, don't forget to bang a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new and get your comment in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to win this fight? And what do you think of this Beterbiev dip strategy, Bivol's, the ways and means in which he capitalized on Beterbiev's movement? I want all your thoughts in the comments below. Please do let me know what you think. Also, and finally, I have a link to buy the fight in the description. If you'd like to support my channel, you can buy the fight on DAZN in the link in the description, and it just means I get a little cut of the revenue. It doesn't mean anything else. So if you're planning on buying it anyway, please do go for it. And obviously, you know, DAZN's got all the boxing now. So if you subscribe, you're going to get basically every important fight. Anyway, guys, on with the video. The next thing I want to show you, and I'll just show you a few examples of this, is the way that Beterbiev attacks. And it's really interesting. I've not really heard it described like this before, but I'm going to call it the Beterbiev dip. And it's the way that he approaches Bivol. I will show you in the footage how he does it, but he approaches Bivol. He dips at a certain moment, and from that point, from that motion there, he gets a lot of forward momentum. He closes the gap quickly, and he can pick any shot he wants, really, from that scenario. So it's very difficult for Bivol to know what to do. But I think cracking this is the absolute key to Bivol having more success in the rematch. Likewise, if Beterbiev can continue to do this, I think he will continue to rack up a lot of points. But this was something he did very, very well. Okay, so let me show you the first example of this. So moving around the ring, all good. Bivol's guard is nice and high. He's got a pretty good stance. Beterbiev, as does Beterbiev. Watch here. So he just edges his front foot. He's following Bivol around the ring. And it's from this range here that it's dangerous and it's effective. And this is something Bivol needs to figure out how to stop. So watch here. You'll see his body dips straight down. It dips down. And from there, there's a couple of different things he can do. He can just go down and then he can move. But on this occasion, he dips down and his front foot goes forward. So his stance is actually super wide here. But because his stance is wide and because of the way he pendulum steps, it gives him the ability to lunge and to reach and to end up balanced when he lands in his destination, essentially, when his right foot catches up with his lead foot. So from this position, he's dipped down, and he can do a lot of different things from here. He could he could lunge forward with a jab if he wanted to. He could throw a straight right to the body. Or what he could do, I mean, he could hook. There's a number of things he could do, or what he could do is he throws the right hook here. So as he lands that front foot, you see how square his body is as well, which means his right shoulder doesn't actually have too far to get there. He slings that in, and he comes up again, and Bivol has to move away. But this is the space here where Bivol, he needs to find solutions, because that moment there, Beterbiev is quite exposed. He's quite vulnerable because his feet are very wide. If you hit him there, he's going to have poor balance. This is the spot for me where I think Bivol needs to take more chances, more risks, because it's a vulnerable position to be in. But Beterbiev does it extremely quickly, but you see how wide his arms are there. His chin is right there. And because of the way that Bivol postures in this defensive scenario, that's the problem. If he was watching, then there's a chance there for him to do something. It's a quick motion. It's difficult, but these are high-level elite guys. Just to demonstrate this to you again, this is actually the phase before, so you can see the variation as I was explaining it that Beterbiev is able to do. Again, feet not too far apart. Watch what Beterbiev does here. Dips down. He's gone straight down there. It's not too easy to see because he's behind Bivol. Dips down. As he dips down, this foot's come closer again. Steps in, and you see how effective this is because Bivol's got nowhere to go, and it's the positioning of it that's key, because look how close Bivol is to the ropes here. So he can only go side to side here. So stepping in makes sense because then Bivol's got to go to the side. In going to the side, he's got nowhere to go. And in throwing a hook, you know you're going to get to him. So as you can see, dips down, steps his front foot forward, and he throws in that right hook. This time he goes to the gloves, though, rather than the body. So this was the first one. First time he goes upstairs. Second time he goes downstairs. It's clever stuff. It's clever variation. And it cuts off the exit as well, which is something we'll talk about later in the video about things I think Beterbiev can potentially improve upon. Here's the dip again. Watch this. This is smart. So Beterbiev has extended his jab hand. Again, distracts that guard. You can also see the position that Bivol is in. He's close to the ropes. So you want to do something that gets you close to him that stops his exit, as I've been discussing. So watch what Beterbiev does here. He's going to dip his body straight down. Dip. He's gone from here down to here. Dipping, it loads your legs. It makes you explosive. It allows you to move forward and move quickly. As he does that, this front foot goes forward. So you watch. It goes forward. He steps in. Now, because Bivol's still got a bit of space to exit here, Beterbiev does a slight variation. So this time, he just extends the jab hand from that position. But he doesn't fully commit with the jab. He just uses it to bring him even closer. So he steps in, the jab goes, it keeps that guard distracted. He doesn't actually even touch him with the jab. He stops it about there, and he uses that just to gain leverage and balance, and then he slings it. Boom, on the gloves. Now, I know that, again, it's on the gloves, but we talked about before the power, the effectiveness of that. And it's just a good example of the dip, the variation. The dip, how it creates the power to get forward. It allows him to lunge into space, to extend his legs, to get close to Bivol. It's so clever. Again, straight down, dip. This time, again, he can go where he wants with it. He goes to the body. Boom. Again, look at the gap between them here. This is a great example of it. I think it just shows how much the gap is and how it closes so quickly. So, gaps there. Dip down. So from here, you know the second he goes with that dip, for the rematch for Bivol, he's got to see that motion down from there to there. That's got to be a trigger for him to do something. Whether that is take half a step back and fire a combination, whether that is step in and fire a combination, he's got to do something. But that dip is the key. Of course, it can be feinted. Of course, you can create a decision. But this is something he's got to deal with. So the dip goes down, dips, and then he steps in. So he pendulum steps. So dip down, back leg comes in, front foot goes forward. And this time he elects to jab. And as I say, from this position here, and it's even the little, watch that. See how he just flourishes his right hand ever so slightly. And from here, both hands are an option. It makes it a nightmare to defend because you just don't know what he's going to do. He lunges in with the jab this time and catches Bivol clean. Bivol moves backwards again, hits the gloves, and it resets. But the point is that it closes the gap so fast, it allows him to land clean. There's indecision in which shot he's going to throw. And in my mind, Bivol never really dealt with this. And it's the perfect remedy for Bivol's high guard because he just can't quite react properly. And Bivol's this part of Bivol's game, this is the weakness. This is where Beterbiev thrives. It's this inability to read what he's going to do and maybe move your head and make him miss and make him pay. Everything Bivol does is about high guard and about feet. And if it is going to continue to be that, he's got to at the very least be willing to drop his gloves a little bit so he can see what's happening and take half a step back and try and counterpunch. I think that for me is so essential. I'm going to show you two more examples of this. And then I'm going to talk about what I think Beterbiev can do better in this rematch. But this dip is so key. And I'm just going to show you two more great examples that I think are really worth watching. So again here, and you can see there's actually a little bit of mischief going on here. You can see with the feet, Beterbiev stepped on Bivol's front foot there. Now, I'm not somebody that thinks that every time someone does that, it's deliberate. It can just happen, but it is also a wily old trick. So we'll never truly know the intentions there. But watch, steps forward, and then you see the way he explodes down with his knees, dips right down into this position here. So body comes down, foot goes forward. He's inside Bivol's space. Bivol's had to step back to get away. And from there, again, look at his hand position. Both hands loosen at the front of him there. Bivol, absolutely no opportunity to counterpunch because he's got that high guard. What does Beterbiev do? I actually don't remember, so let's find out. He goes with the backhand to the body. But you see what I mean, guys? Even watching it, I don't remember in that scenario what variation he's going to throw because he's square when he dips down. If you look, just take it back slightly. When he drops to here, and he often flourishes the right hand first, so even though the right hand is flourished slightly wide there, from there he can easily go with the jab. But you see how square he is? Both his hands are sort of in the similar position. His shoulders are in a similar position. So it's really hard to read what he's actually going to do there. And his lead foot is actually close. The great thing about it for Beterbiev is you can see his eyes. He has a clear vision. So he can look at Bivol as he's coming in and he can see what's the space here. You can see it's to the body. That's what he does in this scenario. So this is super effective. Super effective. One more. The last one I want to show you. And I want to show you this one because I like it. It's got a little bit of everything. It shows you how it's hard to read. So the phase just before he does this, watch. He dips down. He's moving his head slightly, but he's dipping into this position here. But look, his foot stays in exactly the same place. So it creates that indecision. Not every time he dips down will he step in. And so you're not sure if you're Bivol, you're not sure if you should hold your feet. It just makes it difficult to read him. So he dips down, comes up again. Now, to start the next phase, he throws a little jab. And as he does that, just watch. It's so smart. It's so subtle. As he jabs, as he lands that jab on the guard of Bivol, he steps in. Now, from that, he can dip his knees. So that's what he does. He dips down. You see his head, it goes from here to about here. Dips down, and at the same time, as I've been saying, he steps his foot in. So his foot ends up beyond Bivol's foot. And Bivol, again, he's got this defensive posture. From here, steps in. What's he going to do? So his lead hand is far out. His right hand is about here. So the lead hand would be the closer shot, but his right hand is fully loaded. And he goes for it. Boom, upstairs. That one goes around the guard this time and does actually catch him pretty clean on the side of the head. And that's a very good power shot. Another little jab there, backs him up onto the ropes. And Bivol is able to move off eventually. But that is the Beterbiev dip. That is something that was super key to him being able to close the gap on Bivol and land shots. And Bivol's got to crack it. Next thing we're going to look at here is the way that Bivol capitalized on different elements of Beterbiev's movement, how he used his own movement to neutralize some of the things that Beterbiev was trying to do in moments, because ultimately he couldn't fully stop Beterbiev. So this sequence here was really interesting, and this is one of the first early signs of Beterbiev coming forward, the brilliance he has on the front foot in this fight, and then watching the way that Bivol was so good at firing shots on the move, on the back foot. So they engage here, and we'll all remember this moment in round one because it's one of the significant moments where they trade right hands. Bivol lands clean, Beterbiev lands clean. Moments later, having landed that right hand, Beterbiev is on the pursuit. He wants to land another one, and Bivol makes the most of this over-aggression here from Beterbiev. So Beterbiev throws the right hand here, and you can see Bivol just pulls back. It misses by a fraction. And it's one of the only moments in this fight where you see Beterbiev sort of off balance slightly. And this is what he likes to do. You see that right foot there? He wants to step through there into southpaw to find his balance again. And I'll show you a few moments in the fight where Bivol was able to capitalize on that. But you see, he tries to step through. As he steps through there, Bivol throws the jab, throws the right hand, and lands it clean as he's on the back foot himself. And you see from here, he's going to end up all the way back there because he sort of leaps backwards. There you go. Boom. And he's out of range again. The scary thing about Beterbiev is, look, he's already mine on one thing. He's already, look at his eyes, look at his hands. He's already marching forward to walk him down despite Bivol landing a good punch there. But the first sign of Bivol doing really good effective work off the back foot, that sort of counter punch, you can pursue me, but I can plant my feet at any given moment while I'm in motion and fire a fast counter. Loads of examples of this, but I'm just going to show you some of my favorite ones from the fight. So, this position here, no surprise, Beterbiev's marching forward, so Bivol takes a little backward step, moves to the left, and you'll see what happens here. He drops his front foot back as if he's going to start circling round to the side, because that's what he does. He takes this foot and moves it to here. And the idea is that once that foot's in position there, he can try and bring himself over here and start moving around the ring again. So as he drops that foot there, He pauses, and rather than moving round, he uses that to plant his feet. So his feet are set here, and he goes with shots. So he goes jab up the middle, which lands clean. Right hand, which lands on the guard. Left hook lands on the guard. And then he resets. And you think from this position here, he's going to try and move over here. But again, he's moving. Boom. Sets his feet. And he goes left jab to the body. Left jab up top. Parried by Beterbiev. Dips under that jab. Doesn't throw back this time. And then he goes in motion again and blocks all those shots from Beterbiev. But the idea is simple. You move, you plant your feet very suddenly and you throw. And then you look to get off your work. I absolutely love this one. And it's just a single shot. But this is the eye-catching stuff that, you know, makes you want to give Bivol rounds. And it's hard because, you know, it requires perpetual motion. So watch. You see the position here. He's moving around this way. Beterbiev pursuing him. Moves over there. Plants that foot. Shuffles across. Plants that foot. Boom. Bounces back the other way. Gets around Beterbiev's jab. And this is the thing. When Beterbiev tries to jab him when he's in motion like this, it's much easier to avoid punches. And this is something, it's a very random comparison that I'm going to give you here, but it's just because it's fresh in my mind. Something that I've noticed Daniel Dubois does when he gets his feet bouncing, suddenly his head movement gets a lot better and he starts slipping shots and throwing off the little bounces. So same thing with Bivol here. He bounces, Beterbiev extends the jab, and because he's bounced, he's lighter on his feet, he can throw his punches faster, and he fires a single shot there. Boom. Lands straight on the chin of Beterbiev there. You can see, boom. Catches him clean. Right on the chin. And there's not too many times that you saw a clean shot like that in the fight. And then from that, he gets his guard up and he's able to move off again. Couple quick things that Bivol was able to do with Beterbiev's movement that was really effective as well. The first thing that I'm sure some of you will have noticed was that Beterbiev, because he plants his feet, because he likes to throw a lot of powerful shots, he's quite flat-footed at times, and he uses the L step to change the angle. And the L step, for those of you that don't know, I'll show you right now. It's basically just this. What it allows you to do is move backwards without moving straight backwards, so you can't be caught coming out of a position. So the idea is to try and get off at an angle. So what you'll see here is this foot will go backwards, and then this foot will go to the side, thereby making an L shape. It's very simple. So this foot goes backwards, this foot goes to the side, and that's the L step. And all that does is it creates a new angle. There was quite a few times he did it in the fight, and Bivol didn't capitalize on it because it was quite a readable movement. It wasn't too quick. And as he lands, that's when you can really go for him because he's not planted to throw counter punches. So for me, Bivol could have probably gone for it even more with the L steps. He could have capitalized on them even more to try and create that feeling he couldn't do it, and then maybe force him to move backwards in straight lines a little bit more so that you can come forward with those clean straight punches. But you'll see, we'll just wind that back slightly. You'll see Bivol jabs there, and Beterbiev does the little L step, and Bivol reads it here. You see he switches his angle straight away, and then he fires a jab up the middle, a right hand, and it's on the guard there, another little jab. It's all on the guard there, but the point is he can anticipate that movement. He can keep Beterbiev on the back foot where he needs to be to beat him. You can see it again here, and this time their feet are very close together, so Beterbiev's got to be, you know, quite careful in doing it because changing the angle that close, you're obviously more hittable when you're close to somebody, so moving off at an angle like that can be quite tricky, quite risky. You'll see here, the second he does it, quick L step. He does it in one motion that time. It's much faster, but as he does it, tries to change the angle. Bivol's very alert to it and throws the jab right up the middle. Hits the guard there. Right hand round the guard, and again, makes Beterbiev back up. And that's what you want, as I said. As I say, a couple of examples of it there. Something I felt he could have probably capitalized on even more because there was quite a few times that Beterbiev got away with it in the fight, and it would have been an opportunity to potentially get him on the back foot. Final thing I'll show you is why we didn't see Beterbiev switching too much in this fight. There were moments when Bivol was really able to capitalize on those foot faults. But switching is not necessarily a foot fault, but if you catch someone in the midst of switching, as I showed you before, it can be a problem. This is something that, you know, Bivol's really good at. I showed you in my Canelo Berlanga breakdown, the way that Bivol capitalized on those Canelo foot faults. I showed you again in the preview for this fight. Really, really good at timing people when they're switching, because it's something that both Canelo and Beterbiev do. They cross their feet to get into range. They walk into range at times, and they don't mind ending up in southpaw for a moment. Beterbiev also uses it to cut angles off, something you've seen a lot of the great fighters doing. But anyway, he dips under, he catches him with a good jab there, actually, as he's dipping down. And you'll see, the idea for Beterbiev here is he wants to make this foot the lead foot, because that foot is closer to the way that, because Bivol's trying to exit this way, that foot is closer to the exit route. So you're better to put your weight onto that foot and follow off, leading with that foot. So there you go. He goes onto the right foot there. So suddenly, in that position, he's in southpaw. And this is something that I think Bivol could do even more in the rematch. I think to try and capitalize on Beterbiev when he uses that to follow him. Know that he's going to follow you. Know there's going to be a moment when his legs are not in a punching position. And try and capitalize on that. So watch as he edges forward here. Steps through into orthodox. And dips down and throws a shot. And you can see there, he's ended up stepping into southpaw again. And because of where Bivol's face is, he spotted this. I'm pretty sure he spotted this anyway. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit. But he spotted the stance switch. So as he comes through here, look at his feet. This foot here is in midair. Let me try doing that circle again. This foot here is in midair. So there's absolutely no way that Bivol can land a punch there. So Beterbiev can land a punch there. So Bivol, knowing this, he goes. He throws. Jab, right hand, jab. And he's got his guard up there. And it's good work from Beterbiev to defend that. And he goes with another little hook. Hook. That one goes around the guard. Good blocking from Beterbiev there. And it's a big exchange. And again, bang, bang. And that's the end of that one. But the point is, that whole sequence is triggered by a foot fault from Beterbiev. And so I think Bivol can probably have even more success with those foot faults moving forward. So have a little look at this exchange here as well, just to show you again, Bivol capitalizing on that foot fault from Beterbiev. So, guys, you know what? I actually kind of want to stop saying foot fault. I'll just say switching, because it's not a fault. He does it very deliberately. It's a massive strength that he uses that can be turned into a weakness. That's the point. Can you turn it into a weakness? Anyway, you'll see here, Bivol just catches him very lightly with a loose little jab there, and Beterbiev instantly counters down to the body, comes up with that left hook upstairs, which lands around the side of the guard. And you'll see there's just a moment here, because what Bivol's trying to do here, and this is one of the reasons that he was able to get to him, Beterbiev, he's trying to exit that way. So again, which foot is closer to that exit is the right foot. The foot on this side is closer, which is his right foot. So as he tries to exit that way, as that hook is landed, you see there's just a moment there where Beterbiev has landed in southpaw. You can see that's the front foot there. He's landed in southpaw, but he hasn't been able to throw a shot. So as Bivol moves away, he's got to step back into orthodox. So you can see right foot forward here, left foot back. He's going to step that left foot forward. As he does that, that's an opportunity to attack because he's switching his stance. So he steps that through. As he steps, you see, look, the second he starts stepping, Bivol goes with the jab. So boom, boom, up the guard, up the middle there, and he lands in orthodox. And then he's landed a nice jab up the middle, and Beterbiev has to take a step back. Something that I felt Bivol needed to do more in this fight was lead off. He countered a lot. I've shown you how effective his counters were. They were brilliant, but I do think he needed to add leading off into his offensive arsenal, let's say, a little bit more. Because I just think it would have... Some of these rounds were very, very close, and the only thing that, you know, probably swayed it for the judges was the come forward aggression of Beterbiev. If Bivol could have just had a few more moments where he was the aggressor, I think it could have won in the fight. And I'm not saying he needs to make massive changes. These are very subtle, very smart things he needs to do. And the timing has got to be impeccable. The amount he does, it's got to be very, very calculated. He can't overdo it, because if he over-engages with Beterbiev, we both know who the stronger man is. So Beterbiev, a way that he likes to attack, and it's something he does a lot, is he'll take a little skip into range. So he throws the jab here, and you see he does a little pendulum step. So this foot goes to here, so this foot can go to here, and it helps him get into range. And obviously at the same time, the idea is to use this hand, flick that forward to occupy the vision so that they can't really read that you're getting into range. So you'll see, extends the jab, does the little step, and then what he'll often do here is pause there. What he likes to do, Beterbiev, is he'll dip his legs here, and he'll flourish a hand. So here he's gone with his lead hand. Often he'll flourish his right hand, and from that position there, where he's dipped, it's really hard to read what he'll do, and he'll throw it with power. So it's hard to defend. It's probably going to hurt you whether it hits your guard or not. And what happened a lot in this fight was he dipped, but it would be from a better space. So the difference on this one is, and I should really have shown you a successful one to help you understand, but what's happened here is he's taken this step, and what Bivol's done here that he struggled to do at times in this fight was he's just taken a little half step back to there. It's something you see all the good counter punchers doing, these little half steps backwards to make their man fall short or end up too close to you to do what they want to do. So this little half step here, what it enables is, the little half step back there, what it enables is as he dips down there, Beterbiev, he's not kept moving backwards there, Bivol, he's planted. And he, you know, the way he was going at times, Bivol, where he was coming back too much, Beterbiev would have expected him probably in this instance to keep going backwards to about there. So he thinks when he dips here that Bivol's going to be further away, but he's not. And as a result, he's suddenly in range during the dip. Normally the dip is further away. So he dips, and then Bivol's only thinking one thing, right hand. Boom, that's a good shot. And it lands between the neck area, so Beterbiev's so strong. But then you can see he catches him with the left hand there as well. Boom, that's a good left hand. And then Beterbiev resets. But something he needs to do better is he needs to time those dips. So whether that's taking that little half step back and then being brave, holding your feet, anticipating the dip, and then throwing your shots, or whether it's actually stepping in and firing shots into that dip. There's a moment there where he is exposed, where his guard is more open, when he's going to sling that shot in. That's an area where I really feel like he can capitalize on it more. And I'll show you how he does it better, Beterbiev, in the Beterbiev video. I don't really want to get into it here, but Bivol's got to time the Beterbiev attacks more. He's got to vary more when he's going to actually move backwards and when he's going to hold his feet. And he does have to hold his feet, and he does have to throw with power with greater frequency, in my opinion, if he's going to get a win in a rematch.